and gentlemen, we warmly welcome Mr. Ramneek Jain, CEO, Max Speciality Films Limited, for today's edition of Insights with Nidhi. Your 25 years of experience in manufacturing in India and USA across verticals would have never put you to handle such an emergency as this pandemic has, we trust. Max is a major supplier of specialty packaging, labels, coating, and lamination films. We warmly welcome you again, sir, and thank you for giving us the time to share your views with our viewers.
Thank you very much, Nidhi, and I compliment you and the entire elite team for coming up with this novel idea. I've listened to some of the other broadcasts that you have recorded, and I've really found them very helpful to be able to hear some of the views because everybody is looking for inputs and cross information. So, thank you for putting this together.
Your words are really precious, and thank you very much for those. So you're very strong in specialty packaging films, mainly catering to the FMCG segment. How the demand has been impacted in this last 3 months, and some verticals have slowed down or some verticals have increased. What has been the trend?
Um, I would say, Nidhi, that our demand has remained fairly strong. And what we have been working on for the past couple of years, we initially, of course, there was a couple of days in the last week of March, some movement. Uh, but since then, I don't think our production quantity or dispatch or the product mix has changed in any way. We were largely in specialty; those products remain to be strong in terms of the food packaging. So I think we've seen a good, strong demand and consistently out there.
Excellent, sir. You also have chemical coating lines. During this breakout, there have been a lot of innovations that have come very handy with the PPE and chemical coatings. Have you come across any such demands or kind of specific requirements that have been put across to you from customers?
I think not specifically from our immediate customers, but yes, we all looked across what we could do with regards to PP and how our plastic can be evolved. And even our board was very open to share their views if there was anything we could do to serve the nation need at that point of time. So far, we do not have any such product. Yes, we are working on certain coatings for our regular products, and we'll talk about that, but not specific to PPE as yet.
Okay. Any new strategic changes that you have made in your supply chain process, which were devised in the lockdown time to cater to your FMCG sector, where delivery timeline is of critical importance? Some process changes, some applications that you're going to kind of carry on after the pandemic effect has gone away?
I think I'm pretty happy to say that most of our processes remain to be strong. Yes, we did put together a more focused team to coordinate the logistics. And I think that has really given us a good service angle, which we plan to now continue and strengthen more. So the communication improved because of that, and the tracking improved. And I think that gave a higher degree of confidence and clarity to our customers, which we think was very value adding for them and something which is important to them. We would like to continue doing.
Well, what was your experience in managing the labor force that a lot of leaders have kind of shared with us, especially in Punjab, where your plant is? There has been a curfew most of the time. So, how did you manage the workforce and also carry on the production?
I think this is one point which I'm very proud of, and I know my team is very proud of. And this is where I think the culture of the company comes through. Um, while many of the industry people and my competitors may have had a challenge of getting the people together, we actually had a problem. We did not have this problem. Um, we are a company which is located in the suburbs, or more in a remote location relative to a main city. So most of our workforce is staying close to the plant. Second, but even then, despite some of the restrictions from the people and the local communities, we had nearly 85-90% people show up from the very first day. In fact, we had to turn down some people to say no. We need to control footfall, and that really makes us proud that the loyalty that people showed. and the commitment to the company and the feel of pride to be part of an essential commodity that we can help contribute a little bit in this time of need. So we are very lucky and very proud that we really did not have this problem. Even on the contractual labor side, it is largely of people who are staying close by. So we did not have that problem, Nidhi. And we continue to introspect more of how do we nurture what has been the strength and add to it. So really very lucky to have this kind of people and group culture.
Excellent. So I being from the north and being a Punjabi, I would say the feeling of Sada Punjab and our kind of valor that we have to go out and do what is required for the country would have come very strong there. And your plant in
Absolutely.
Roper, I think it's very spread out. I know the area myself, so they would have been fortunate to actually be in that area. So you've been lucky
Yes,
there, I guess.
and I would say that it the we as a company and everybody, we have left no stone unturned to maintain the safety angle, which obviously takes precedence over everything else. And that was the broad message to the team that guys, we need to follow safety and safety and safety, and then worry about the quality and then the quantity. So I think people understand that, and we took several iterative steps besides the regular, hygiene factors, and there are some which have really worked as well, and we'd like to continue with them more. But I think we can have good process, we can have good guidelines, but I really thank all my team and the people on the shop floor who executed it very well as well.
One point which most of the leaders are actually sharing is that yes, the main assets are the teams in this time. So that has brought out that area extremely well during this
That's
pandemic.
correct.
So
Absolutely.
the healthcare and the pharma are very rapidly growing, as we've seen in this pandemic. Extremely high growth in those areas. Uh, do you have any plans to launch any new products offerings in this industry in the future?
No, not at this time. We are very consistent with our strategy that we have put in place over the past 2 years. And as of right now, we think we have our hands full and a fairly secured glide path. So we're not looking at pharma or healthcare at this point of time.
Well taken. Max Speciality is majorly into specialty BOPP films as compared to the commodity films. Any new films that you are like to introduce in future?
Oh, sure. There are lots of them, and clearly, uh, we are we made a very conscious choice that we are going to play the value strategy game and not the volume game. While volume is important overall, but our investments is more in the R&D side rather than putting up higher capacities, which would which would be Plan B. Uh, so, in terms of the value strategy, it is only natural that we should come out with strong products which are value adding to the customer, and they are willing to pay a premium for that. So yes, we have beefed up our R&D segment in terms of infrastructure, people, experience, experimentation. There are a couple of films that are in advanced stages of testing. Probably cannot say much about it at this point of time, but some like BOPE and also our inline coating capability, which is fairly unique in the world. Obviously, with the need, with COVID kind of experience, we do look at antimicrobial, antiviral films and how they would be a greater need, and we should be able to offer some products of that to the country. Uh, Besides the earlier products of biodegradable or monopolymer structure. So there are some going in there. Um, some in terms of wider applications of insulation or temperature sensitivity. So there is a mixed bag, a lot of experimentation going on, but it's easy to get lost in that excitement. But we need to balance the R&D and the commercial aspects and the ultimate what is the need of the end customer finally.
So you remain focused in the niche. Okay.
I think yes, our focus is very important for us, and yeah, I yes, you could.
Okay.
That's
You
correct.
really made waves with Topan, and Topan has the best transparent barrier film possible across in the world. It's like, if I hear it sells like hotcakes across the world. Somehow we have not seen that push in the Indian market with this product? Has there been a reason for that?
Yes, well, yes, to the fact that Topan does have a very good transparent barrier film, and they've had it for as a not really as a monopoly. There is some competition, but really large volume and largely in polyester side. And we, as a BOPP company, uh, we have actually worked very closely with them, and we have a OPPGL film, kind of a transparent barrier product, which is in the works. I think transparent barrier film is a very premium film, so it has a high expense attached to it, because of which the need factor in India has been a little low. And just to add that, yes, there has been some sale of that in the country. With that said, Japan is a very strong partner. We have very, very close interaction with them in terms of variety of R&D and D and other opportunities. So there is a lot of work going on transparent barrier, and I think India would grow to that need in the coming few quarters, and we do have a plan to offer that. More importantly, at the right price point, which may find some interest with the Indian customers. So,
We shall be waiting for that for sure.
so
With the focus on the hygiene and the safety of especially the food products, applications like holography, anti-counterfeit, security, even the tracking, those are really going to see a boom as we expect. Earlier also, a lot of focus was there, but I think now it's going to become an area where demand will really rise. You have any plans of introducing applications in these areas?
yes, so you're very right. So there's one segment of the food side and the one segment of traceability and communication with the about the product and the counterfeiting. So on the food and hygiene side, as I mentioned, antiviral, antimicrobial, also anti-fog, and variety of films which enhance the food quality or its preservation in terms of it's a higher shelf life. So there is a lot of work going on in the ultra high barrier side, and connected to that is the fact of the recyclability aspect, where we have products which are removing aluminum and other such parameters which make it more recyclable. In terms of the traceability counterfeiting, there is a lot of work going on. Um, we do not have a product as it is in the open market as of yet. We did partner with Topan for a product with the Indian government on counterfeiting. So that's still under discussions. So I think in the due course of time, we would be exploring this a lot more. There is already something in the works, but I think, yes, it's an area where we are also looking hard.
Good, sir. We are going to be looking forward with the entire plethora of new films as well as applications. Interesting to know that you just mentioned the aluminium. Is the metal aluminium completely separable from laminated structures? Is it 100% possible?
So we minimize it. So we can remove aluminum. We have some products which can replace aluminum and still give uh, nearly as good performance. Still, some amount of metal deposition is there, but that is so small. I think that is in the current standard, it is considered okay in terms of the recyclability concept. But yes, there are products out there and improving by the day to be able to replace aluminum.
Okay, so best we can do there. BOPT is a growing application. Any market development since you are not in that area yet?
Again, clear focus. We are a BOPP company, always have been, and I think there is enough scope in that segment itself. So
No
no BOPP.
CPP, no CPP also? No, because
CPP,
most of
CPP, yes.
CPP.
CPP, yes. So CPP, we talk about BOPE, MOPE. So there are variety of polyethylene or blown films of some combination, which are becoming interesting. And in terms of the cost and barrier, and I think there is so much innovation going on in every industry that whatever was the mindsets of that this may not be possible in this polymer and this polymer, I think there are no such holy cows. So there is a lot of experimentation. So definitely CPP, BOPE, MOPE, some combinations of these are in great works with the monolayer structure, and ultimately seeing how we can add value to the end customer.
Excellent. And from where the demand is coming, everyone is on their feet, right? I think everyone is trying to see that what is requirement and they will cater to that. Your organization has a very high global footprint for your products. How the exports have been? Did the logistics kind of hamper your normal rate of exports?
Well, I think the COVID did bring a certain amount of hiccups in pockets, but I would say that the team has done a fantastic job of managing it. And in fact, our strategy is roughly about one third or maybe slightly less of export to the domestic. But that's not a ratio we try to adhere to. It's more like wherever is the need and wherever we are being able to maximize the potential, we go with that. Supply logistics in exports, yes, because it's long and a little bit more variables are involved. But I think again, our specialty journey in exports are uh, are playing well. Commodity export we generally tend to avoid because of just the margins, and there is enough market in India. So I think exports will continue to be a strong part. But then again, our journey is on the specialty, and I think there is good demand in export and domestic. So I think the bigger idea is that wherever we can find better traction with certain customers and penetrate deeper with them in a spirit of partnership, I think less is more.
I have been hearing a lot of the raw material companies because there was a lockdown in India. So they did find a lot of markets overseas and they exported because their crackers were working all the time. Uh, and they found new markets which they had never catered to earlier. Has there been a case with your company also where you got into markets which you had not even thought of earlier?
No, not in our case, because I think our customers uh, continued, and wherever uh, they were not working, I think our relationship is deep enough that we hold on to that, and with whatever was open and whatever we could serve, I think we could meet our needs. So we did not venture out into anything new in terms of scratching or knocking on new doors at this point of time.
Very well. So we have enough in our basket already. What is your expectation for the rest of 2020 as far as your products are concerned, the demand for that?
Um, with a lot of humility, I would say that we see the year remaining strong. We had a good March 20 ending, and I think the entire industry and some results are beginning to come out, the financial results, and I think the industry has done well. I think I foresee this year to be remaining strong for us. But I think what is more important is that how the third and the fourth quarter, and more importantly, the next year early pans out. Um, with that said, I think our product strategy and our product penetration right now is strong. Again, with every year, the expectations go higher. And so we need to do the right things this year to meet our higher expectations of next year.
Very
So
well. So that's optimistic.
overall demand remains strong for us, and I think FMCGs, and with the whole panic buying and the whole discussion you've had with many other industry people, I think there remains to be a strong pull and to beef up and to fill up the pipeline, which kind of emptied out a little bit across all products. So I think we are seeing continuously the demand remaining strong.
Excellent. So growth is there. There's a lot of focus on sustainability, understandably so. Any developments that you have done over and above what you had already planned on this topic?
I think we are in more advanced stages of the experimentation. We have looked into playing with the master batches or some tie-ups with some biodegradable raw material suppliers and variety of combinations. I wouldn't say that there's anything radically new. It's just more advanced stage of where we were before on the direction of biodegradable or single polymer. So just continuing with that.
Excellent.
Of course, there is the vertical which we initiated was also on the post-consumer waste, and the idea is to be able to have the waste collected, and for that we have strongly partnered up with the Punjab administration, and they've been very supportive and welcoming. And I think it's a win-win option. Once we get that material, then we put in our IP, our knowledge into how to convert it to, and how do we use the converted part. And I think it's a positive sum game. It has business sense. It does make economic sense as well. And I think that segment has now started to show positive financials. And I think it's only a matter of us scaling it up more and more.
I think that's going to be a very good example because after this pandemic is like a one over, and that entire plastic waste is again going to come back. It is kind of doused a bit for now, but it has started
Sure.
coming back with all those masks and all littering away. There are forces that are coming back to say no to plastics again. And your model could probably become an example for a lot of converters and processors. And we also wanted to thank you and appreciate the 5 crore of rupees that you actually gave for CSR. I saw on your website. So well done. That is
Yes, ma'am.
walking the talk and quite an example for all of us in the industry.
I think just to add, Nidhi, what gives me a lot of joy also is that one is at a corporate group level, yeah. Um, the team, in fact, I got a full signal from my working level teams that we would like to put in 1 day's salary. Now that passion, that thought is very motivating and inspiring and very humbling. And so we just said, really, we are doing all of this from a company side, but they said, no, we want to put in our 2 cents as well. And we just collected that money. And I think those couple of lakhs stand equally tall with the emotions that go with it, along with the corporate allocation that we have made at a group level to be able to make our little contribution. So yeah, pretty happy about that.
I think in this area, that is CSR, it's 1 plus 1 becomes 11. It kind of garners momentum, and the happiness that you actually get is more for your own
That's
self.
right.
What it does for the others is obviously there. One parting question I had, Ramneek ji. You've been one location, very reserved, so as to say, no acquisitions, no mergers. Of course, there would have been a thought process behind it, but are we expecting to see a little bit of aggressiveness, or we will kind of toe the same line?
So the boring answer is we'll toe the same line. And I remember in my earlier career, there was a time and for 2, 3 years I watched people ask that company's CEO, what's the new strategy? And he says, my new strategy is that we're continuing with the old strategy. And so really, in the long race, you don't knee jerk every now and then. And uh, I think we have our hands full right now. If we can execute this well, slow and steady, and most important is that we maintain our brand image and the value add in the eyes of the customer. I think if that continues, there is good win-win. So I think we are okay right now.
Very well said, sir. We are going to be looking forward for your applications, your products, your new films that are going to come out in the niche sector. And till we talk to you again and we meet again, apparently in our Flexible Packaging Summit, whenever we can hold that. Thank you so much for your thoughts, for sharing your vision, which is going to be very helpful to our industry fellows. Thank you, Ramneek ji. Appreciate a lot.
Thank you, Nidhi, for the opportunity for this discussion. And I once again congratulate you and the entire elite team for coming up with this very knowledgeable platform and exchange of ideas. Thank you.
With all humility, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah.
For more videos on Insights with Nidhi Verma, please click the playlist tab on your left, and please subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo on the right. Do press the bell icon to never miss a video.